Sandy Hook School. Callers indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building. Units responding to Sandy Hook School. The front glass has been broken out of the school. They're unsure why. At all units, the individual that I have on the phone is continuing to hear what he believes to be guns. While units responding to Sandy Hook School at this time, the shooting appears to have stopped. It is silent at this time. The school is in lockdown. I have reports that the teachers saw two shadows running past the building, past the gym, which would be rear base. Near shooting.
Yeah, we got them. They're coming at me down Cross Point. Okay, these units in the school, I got bodies here. But get ambulances.
Hi, and welcome to our educational series. My name is Larry Folletta. I'm a former DEA agent, and I have over 30 years of law enforcement training and experience. And over the years, I've learned on how to handle difficult and dangerous situations through my training and experience. And what I'm hoping to help you with today is to make you aware of your surroundings and how dangerous of a world that we live in. Part of the series that we'll discuss today has to do with school safety and violence. And I hope that some of the information that I can provide you will help you and your children to be more aware of what goes on around them. As I've always told my children, be aware of your surroundings. And I hope that you will instill this with yours. As we begin to explore our crazy world today, I'm going to be frank and upfront with you. I will pull no punches with you, and I will make sure that you understand that we will not just say simple things just to make it politically correct. I can tell you the unfortunate situation of what our most cherished, at least one of our most cherished institutions today in this country are our school systems. Who would have thought some 30 years ago, when teachers were there to teach us about reading, writing, and arithmetic, and now they have to teach us to protect ourselves, and more importantly, to watch out for these crazy people that come to our schools and create havoc with weapons. And they have the real weapons of mass destruction. And let me just say this much to you. After 30 years of law enforcement, when you thought that you've seen it all, it's no longer that. It's now whatever you turn on TV is more of an education about the death and destruction that's happening and going around in this country. What I think that we need to address is to make everybody aware of how this happens and why it can happen and what you should do to help. Our teachers are really our heroes, especially from Columbine to Sandy Hook, untrained professionals. And so now we have to train the trainers, the educators, and how they can best protect not only themselves, but our children as well. One of the things that we did early on in life, back in the 60s, is when we taught our children in schools to be made aware of the nuclear attack by the Soviet Union. We were always practicing daily and day out. And sure, this is what has to happen and what has to take place in our school systems. We must be able to train them on how to respond when somebody has a weapon, as it's commonly referred to, active training for a shooter. And so we've now resorted to armed professionals. And I truly support these armed professionals coming and protecting our kids. That doesn't mean that we should arm everybody, although some people might disagree with that. One of the first things that we should be made aware of, and teachers especially, should talk to the children, find out maybe what families or what child is having issues. Maybe learning that there's some incidents that it's happening in their happy home. And maybe to learn about who's been assaulted, who has weapons, and who has potential weapons to bring to the school. As we move along in our society today, awareness and training are the two key ingredients to minimize the risk of everyone involved in this process. How do we go about doing that? Again, as I mentioned, teachers talking to their students and finding out. It's a way of gathering intelligence, just as our law enforcement agencies do, in trying to finding and weeding out these terrorists who've caused nothing but destruction in our country. One of the things that we should always be aware of is when our children are on that school bus, when they get off of that school bus, who's around them, who is outside protecting them, when they get into school, are there security measures being taken by the school? A lot of school districts now have been forced to change their attitude about how to best protect our students. There should be a system set up in place, whether it's an alert button, an alert signal that should be made to both the student and the teacher. And I know some schools don't like the use of cell phones by their students, but we have to begin to look at a text messaging system where there's an alert system set up at least for the teachers. Secure locks, having strong locks on the doors, secure windows, and just being generally aware of what's taking place. As you know, this may not totally prevent some crazy guy with a weapon, but it may help save some lives. So it's best to have a system set up where at least maybe once a year that you should train the teachers, the law enforcement personnel responding, and of course the students, so they know how to react to any given situation. Remember, training is very important because training helps you react to that situation. And reaction is something that our law enforcement agencies do as a result of their training. So with that, it keeps you in mind of what can actually take place and not just know what to do, but how to do it. And let me just say this in closing. We are all concerned about the safety of our children at school, and we must do everything to prevent it. And I want to thank you for this brief opportunity to discuss this. This could be an ongoing subject forever. And I hope you will join me in my next series when I talk about child custody cases and how that impacts our children. Thank you.